Ms.M.Sreelakshmy, Assistant Professor of Geography at Nirmala College for Women, Coimbatore. I am here to explain about the basic concepts of remote sensing. To study about remote sensing, it is essential to understand the meaning about spatial data. Spatial data, it is also known as geospatial data or geographic data, is a term used to describe any data related to or containing information about a specific location on the Earth's surface. Or rather, in simple sense, spatial data includes the information related to the distribution of any geographical data. There are two main ways of collecting spatial data, by in situ method and by remote sensing method. In situ method refers to the collection of data by being in physical contact with the target, while remote sensing is a method of collecting data from a distance. Thus, remote sensing can be defined as a science and the art of obtaining information about an object, an area, or any phenomena through the analysis of data acquired by a device that is not in contact with the object, the area, or phenomena which is under investigation. Here we need to understand two terminologies in a better way. The words remote and sensing. Remote means that the observation is done at a distance without any physical contact with the object of interest. And sensing here means detection of energy such as light or any other form of electromagnetic energy. We will see how a remote sensing system works. Remote sensing involves the detection and measurement of radiation of different wavelengths reflected or emitted from distant objects or materials, which helps in their identification and categorization. The major aspects or components of any remote sensing system are the energy source or illumination, interaction with target, recording of energy by sensor, transmission, reception and processing, interpretation and analysis. The energy source or electromagnetic energy is very important, as it serves as the crucial medium for transmitting information from the target to the sensor. It is described as an electromagnetic spectrum on which many forms exist that describe energy in a specific region of the spectrum. The energy source comes and gets in contact with the target, and the reflected back radiation is sensed by the sensor. This is in turn sent back and is accepted by the ground station from where it is processed. So this is the basic principle with which any remote sensing system works. There are two important concepts associated with any remote sensing system: the sensor and the platform. Sensor is a device that receives and records the source of energy, and there are two types of sensors, active and passive. Active sensors provide their own source of energy to illuminate the objects they observe. An active sensor emits radiation in the direction of the target to be investigated. The sensor then detects and measures the radiation that is reflected or backscattered from the target. A passive sensor, on the other hand, detects the natural energy or the radiation which is emitted or reflected by the object or the scene being observed. Reflected sunlight is the most common source of radiation measured by any passive sensor. Platform is a medium or the base where a sensor is placed. Generally, there are three types of platforms that are used for remote sensing purpose: ground-based, airborne and spaceborne platforms. Ground-based platforms are used to record detailed information about the surface, which is compared with information collected from aircraft or satellite sensor. Such sensors may be placed on a ladder, a scaffolding, tall building, crane, etc. Airborne sensors are those which are primarily stable wing aircraft, although helicopters are occasionally used, and very recently unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs or drones are used. Spaceborne remote sensing is sometimes conducted from the Space Shuttle, International Space Station, and most commonly with the help of satellites. There are actually several types of remote sensing, and we will here discuss about two major types of remote sensing systems, and they are based on the source of energy or on the source of platform. Based on the source of energy, remote sensing can be divided into active remote sensing and passive remote sensing, whereas on the basis of platform, they can be divided into satellite and aerial remote sensing. Active remote sensing creates a source of energy by itself and then sends it to the target like the LiDAR and the radar, whereas a passive remote sensing makes use of an already existing source of energy like the electromagnetic radiation. Aerial remote sensing is done with the help of aircraft or airplanes or most recently drones, whereas satellite remote sensing is done with the help of satellite system. These are the books of references from which all these materials are collected, and these are the references from where the images are taken.
I hope all these concepts are clear to you. Thank you for listening.